my bad. What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Friends of Five, part of the Five Reasons Sport Network. We're going to talk about Heat. We're going to talk about Dolphins, Hurricanes, Inter Miami, all that good stuff. But before we get into all the good stuff, just want to give you guys a friendly reminder to check us out on YouTube, subscribe to the page, click on those notifications, follow us on Twitter. We got all three of us have the best stuff that anybody on Twitter has. I don't care about Rex Chapman. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about Joe Biden. Any of those people. All right. We have the best stuff. Go on our Five Reasons Sports webpage. We got some really nice shirts there, Tua stuff. And other than that, we're ready to go.
All right. So my name is Ryan Lasner, LasnerSport. We got Matthew Perdomo. He just did the introduction, and a very special guest. He just wants to be called like Madonna, Solana. How you doing, Solana? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I feel bad for you guys. You had on the coach, Tony Fiorentino, last time you were live. He gave you a yeah, baby, and now you just get me. I mean, it's definitely a downgrade.
No, by no means. You're an expert in Miami sports, and that's what we're trying to bring people at.
You're an expert. Hold on. Expert in Miami sports or expert fan, Miami fan, right?
Yeah, I'm not an expert in anything other than just being an idiot. But I will play the role of expert if that's what you need me to do.
Well, your weather takes are really good too. I mean, I listened to you. All right.
There we go. Now we know something I'm an expert in.
All right. I know a couple
expert weatherman. Yeah.
I know a couple weeks ago you just found out that the percentage of humidity wasn't the chances that there was going to be humidity.
I'm still learning. I didn't realize the nuance in weather, but it takes some time, definitely.
And like you mentioned, you're a Miami Heat season ticket holder, so You see a lot of games. Although we did miss out on a few games at the end, and you'd probably be there right now for some playoff games too, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, of course. I mean, we're all bummed, right? Like, you guys would have made your way out to the stadium. But listen, we have basketball back at least, right? Like, I can't get picky. There was 4 or 5 months there where everybody was uncertain if there would be sports in general. So to have basketball back, Heat in the playoffs and the Eastern Damn Conference Finals, like, I'm not going to get picky. I'll enjoy the TNT or ESPN broadcast if that's what it comes down to.
All right. Well, then let's just lay the credentials down. You work for 560 and 790 the ticket. Those are the number one radio stations in South Florida, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You are a producer for the shows, and you also get airtime on your own. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I work on the Hawk and Crowder show. We're on both 560 and now for the past year or so on 790 as well, 2 to 6 p.m. Check us out. And I host the Dolphins Rewind Insider Show. The executive producer of the Miami Dolphins radio broadcast, which is cool. And before COVID, I was doing some lead-in to the Heat pregame show,
right?
And that's changed now because we can't be in the studios or whatever. But I get my couple moments to shine definitely on air, but definitely Hawk and Crowders where you can hear me.
Okay, cool, man. Well, with that said, you have more credibility than us, and that's what we're coming to you for the good stuff. So I want to jump right into it. It looks like we're going to play the Celtics. It could be the Raptors. But essentially, who do you think is most important for the Heat? Like, who do you think on the Heat is in order to get things going? Who do you think needs to be in their themselves for the most?
Well, I think Jimmy Butler, obviously. Like, let's start with Jimmy Butler. We'll start off from the top. And I know Bam, we can all make the case Bam's the most important player on the Heat, and that's fair. I'm not saying Jimmy Butler is more important, but I tweeted this out after I think it was game 2 where Jimmy, you could tell when Jimmy is really feeling himself. He's out there. He's bringing the intensity. He knows better than anybody how to get these cast of young characters to match his intensity. Like, he really knows how to get the most out of these guys. I don't know if it's because they've been in the bubble or because they genuinely want it more. I know it's the biggest sports cliche. We're going to see who wants it more, right? But like you saw in this series, most recently with the Bucks,
right,
Jimmy wants it. Like, he is dying to show everybody that leaving Philadelphia wasn't a mistake. And I mean, he's already proven it, right? Like, he's proven it. But I think it starts with Jimmy Butler bringing that intensity. And even like last night, he only put up 6-7 field goal attempts, which is insane, right? Like, your superstar putting up 7 field goal attempts in a closeout game, and it's your young 20-year-old rookie who's to be quite frank, keeping the offense alive in the third quarter when it was totally just stagnant. So I think it's Jimmy and Bam again. We know Bam's the most important player, right? Defense, offense. Right. He initiates 80% of the offense for the Heat, which is insane as well. But I think it starts with Jimmy, just bringing that intensity, really being the driving force defensively and offensively. And I love it, by the way. Like, I love that Jimmy exudes culture. Like, there's no better example of Heat culture other than UD than Jimmy Butler. And it's only taken, 10 months to show it? It's insane. It truly is insane.
But did it even take 10 months though? Like, because I feel like during the summer we got a little bit, and everybody's like, "Yo, this guy's freaking insane." So would you say right now you're a cocky Heat fan?
Oh, 100%. I'm full force. I was on with friends of 5 Reasons, Miami Heat beat yesterday, reacting to Game 5, and I announced it. Like, I am 100% cocky Heat fan. I'm 100% back. You can't control me anymore. There's no and aren't you guys like? Don't you feel like? I mean, I almost came on today with a button down and a jersey like Lasner. Like, that's how much.
There's still time. There's still time. You can, during an intermission, you might be able to.
Yeah. Let me ask you then. So, what do you say to all the haters that say that the Heat only beat a depleted Pacers team and we only beat a Bucks team that wasn't themselves during the bubble? What does cocky Heat fans say to that?
I mean, it's nonsense. That's not even me being cocky Heat fan. That's me trying to be rational NBA fan or whatever, national NBA. So somebody who watches the NBA. The Heat have been a very good team throughout the entire course of the NBA season. I get we finished in the 5 seed, not the 4, the top 3 or whatever. But the record against the top teams in the East has been phenomenal. Right, other than with the exception of the Celtics, which 2 of those 3 games or 2 of the games that they played were on the second nights of back-to-backs, and the only night that they didn't play on a back-to-back, they beat the Celtics. I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have that.
No,
right.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, and look, like, the Pacers weren't themselves. There's no doubt about it, but those games were still competitive, and the Heat were able to grind those games out in the end, which is what you want to see a team do, no matter how depleted another team is. It's in the playoffs. The whole idea that they're in this bubble and, it's unprecedented, like, all those are challenges. And I get it. Everybody's facing the same challenges, but still, you have to overcome them. And they're able to do it. They're able to grind out these victories. And then you beat the number 1 seed in the Milwaukee Bucks. And I get it. Antetokounmpo was hurt for games 3 and 4. But look, it's the playoffs. Like, there's no excuses. Next man up. You hear the Heat say it all the time. Another sports cliche. Man, like, Lebitard show fans are going to hate me, but like, it's the truth. It's the playoffs. And look, Gordon Hayward went down and nobody's making excuses on the Celtics. You can't compare Hayward and Antetokounmpo, but at the end of the day, like, Miami beat who they had in front of them. And look, we find ourselves in the Eastern Conference Finals, first time since 2014. And this franchise has proven yet again, you don't need to tank to get to where you want to be. And I think that's the most important part for all of this. It means that Pat Riley has proven himself once again that you don't need a tank. You don't need to do what the Sixers did. You don't need to do the stupid process. Like, just build a team you think is competitive each and every year, and the chips will fall where they need to fall.
Gotcha. Hey, so I'm looking at the Celtics. I'm seeing during the regular season they had 3 players score 20 points or more. Between Kemba, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. So walk me through how the Miami Heat are going to win versus the Celtics.
That's tough. Well, I thought yesterday, reacting to that Heat win, I wanted the Celtics. Like, give me the Celtics.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to beat Brad Stevens. Give me the Celtics. I want to see Jimmy against Jason Tatum, against Jaylen Brown. But I'm starting to walk that back just a little bit now that I've heard Nikias kind of break down the matchup, which he explained it to be a more favorable one against the Raptors. It made all the sense in the world to me. How the Heat would beat the Celtics. It would be controlling Kemba Walker, right? Like, I think, and that is obviously going to be a serious problem. But Bam has done such an excellent job of controlling these guards coming off screens and really not letting them get into the paint. So I think that's where the matchup would come down to. But I don't know. I think the Raptors would be a better matchup just because they don't have as many players who can initiate their own offense in isolation situations, right? Like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, all those guys can create their own shot late in a shot clock, right? Like late in a shot clock in an isolation situation, all those guys can beat their defender, take threes, mid-range jumpers. Like they all have that in their repertoire, and I don't think the Raptors have as many of those guys. And but I could be wrong, by the way. Like if you guys disagree, please feel free to school me on this because I'm no NBA expert. That's just from me watching the games. That's what it looks like.
And we wanted your take ultimately,
right?
But to jump in, I think wouldn't you say the Bucks are better than the Celtics?
Yeah, I mean the Bucks were the best team in the NBA,
right. And then also there's no home court advantage too,
right.
So I feel like that's how we're gonna win. There's no home court advantage. We beat the best team in the East, possibly in the NBA, and we're coming together. We're gelling, and Tyler Hero looks more confident than Kemba Walker.
I mean, I think Tyler's got some of that Mario Chalmers, J.R. Smith to him, Deion Waiters, where doesn't care if he's 0 for 8, right? Like he wants the ball, and that's amazing for a rookie. And by the way, like to clear this up, I'm not afraid of the Celtics. I want to make that very clear. Again, I'm 100% back to cocky Heat fan. I'm not afraid of the Celtics, but if you're asking me who would I rather play, I think it's the Raptors. I think so. I'll let you know once that Eastern Conference Final Series is over if I like that or not. But I think it's the Raptors. But who knows, man? Like I'm not afraid of either of those teams. After the way the Heat played against the Bucks, and it was a favorable matchup, to be fair, but I can't see this team losing to anybody in the East right now. I really can't. I can't.
We got a horn for that. All right.
Yeah, like I watched the Raptors and the Celtics, right? Like they're both obviously very good teams. Yeah. One is better at offense and one is a little bit better on defense. I would say the Raptors are a little bit more defensive minded than the Celtics. Right. I think Celtics have more weapons, like you pointed out, to attack. But I think the Heat are dead middle of what they both are, right? Like, because we have a bunch of options to attack. They might not be as great as, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward isn't here anymore.
Well, I did see yesterday that he may right. He's back in the bubble, and I don't know if they're I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think they're expecting him to play in the next series at some point at least.
Yeah, from what I heard, he was walking on turf. Right. No lateral movement. That means nothing. That's nothing. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not afraid of any of them, but I am wary of like what they both bring to the table. And to your point, Raptors, yeah, they might be a better fit for us, but I'm 100% ready for the Celtics, man. Like, let's go. I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
I hate the Celtics, man. Like, I can't stand the city of Boston. I hate the Celtics. I like the fact that Sunday could be a Dolphins-Patriots matchup plus Game 1 Heat-Celtics matchup. Like I love those storylines, those narratives. I'm a sucker for them. So I'm with you. Like I'm down, but at the same time, like I think Toronto again will probably be the easier matchup for Miami, and I think that's like more importantly, right? It's about getting to the finals. So if the Raptors would be the easier road, I'm willing to sacrifice my hatred for Boston to get through Toronto. Also, we would get to literally battle an entire country. Like this way, we're only against a city, right? A region, the New England region.
Right.
Playing the Raptors would be Miami versus a country, which I love. Like I love when everybody hates Miami, and it would be Miami versus a country.
Yeah, but to that I will say we could have taken the easy route. We could have planned to play the 76ers right before this whole thing ended. We haven't gone the easy route. We went, fuck it, let's go to the Pacers. It, let's go to the Bucks, and let's just take the doubt out of everybody's mind. We are clearly the best team in the East. Okay,
I think so. And isn't it crazy to think that the Heat are like ahead of schedule? Right, like if Miami Miami makes the NBA Finals, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Miami makes the NBA Finals, and let's say they win, right? Which at this point isn't crazy to say. Like, I don't think we're being irrational when we say Miami can win the NBA championship this season. They're ahead of schedule. Like, then what? Then what do you do? Because the whole plan was bring in Jimmy, acquire young assets, and then go out. Go out and get your Beal, your Oladipo, your Donovan Mitchell, which doesn't look likely. Like, go out and get that third piece. And now you find yourself in a situation where, well, you don't need him. Like, what's the point of the third piece?
You probably just need like a Jimmy Butler replacement because he's in his 30s or so.
Yeah.
That would be it. Somebody mean.
Yeah.
Was there?
Speaking of Cocky Heat fan, you guys on your show were lucky enough to have Kendrick Perkins on.
Oh man. Twice. Yeah. So Perk and Mark Hochman have developed like a serious friendship. And when I tell you serious friendship, I am not exaggerating. Like Perk is texting Hawk in the middle of games. Like, I mean, they have developed a close friendship out of nowhere. It doesn't make sense to me.
Way.
I can't imagine anybody wanting to be friends with Hawk, to be honest. So I don't get it. But
do you think it's only because of the pandemic though? Because like, can you see them both hanging out at the movies or something like that? Like, do they fit? You know, like.
Well, I mean, Hawk and Crowder fit, so maybe Hawk and Perkins fit too. Yeah.
And speaking of Hochman, though, like he has a great personality because you know about Hackman, right? When he's a Le Batard show.
Of course, dude. I'm the biggest Le Batard show fan you'll ever meet. So
I formerly was, and then I grew up. No, I'm just kidding. I stopped listening just because it just became too repetitive. I still enjoy them. I love them, but I just
I mean, look, the show, and they would tell you, right? Like, it's not for everybody. Like, you really have to be all in on the characters and the bits. And I mean, like when I tell you, I idolized Le Batard, Hawk, and Stu Gatz as a 10-year-old because my brother is 10 years older than me, and he loves sports radio. So he would pick me up from elementary school, middle school, and high school, and it was always Le Batard show in the car on the way home, always. So from a young, and that's why I got into radio. But like I still listen. I can't listen to the whole show now, but I pod the best of every day. Like on my way home, I was listening to the best of. So nice. I'm still all in on that.
Okay, well going back to Hackman, he does like the hamburguesa con queso.
Yeah,
he does it on your show. But that was one of the best skits, man.
My God.
I feel like he was, well, I could be right. He is what Stu Gatz had become after the fact. I guess what I mean to say is Stu Gatz is a version of Hackman.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're I wouldn't say one and the same, but look, they did for however many years they were all together, right? Like that Hawk was producing. They were able to just truly build something incredible. And you still see so much of Hawk's influence on that show now. And listen, I'm the biggest Mike Ryan fan there is. Like Hawk makes fun of me for how much I love Mike Ryan. But you still see, his influence on that show. And you see it in our show as well. Like our show, for as much as we try to differentiate from the Le Batard show, because listen, they control this market. I don't think there's any question. They control several markets now. So you don't want to copy too much of what they do, but it's hard. Like it's hard because Hawk spent so much time on that show. He influenced that show, and that show influenced his style of radio as well. So, and I think you can look around at the Tobin and Leroy show and find some similarities to Hawk and Crowder, even the Zazo and Amber show, right? Like there was always that connection between them before they went national. So yeah, like, and by the way, if you're ever really bored or if you want something to just spend an hour laughing at, look up Mark Hochman's sports comic on YouTube and look up his I Gotta Tell Ya skit. It's every single I Gotta Tell Ya skit from the Hawk and Crowder show. Right. And I'm telling you, it is just like hours of nonstop laughter, nonstop laughter. I listen to it often. Yeah.
All right, let's get off the Heat. Cool. Miami Hurricanes' first game is tomorrow, right? For some reason, it's not on ESPN. It's on the ACC network. Whatever. I thought that at least the first game would be, nationally. But whatever. It's all good. What do you expect from this Hurricanes team this year? I know you're an FIU guy, but what do you expect from the Hurricanes?
I am an FIU guy, but I'm one of these people that believe you can be a diehard FIU supporter, proud graduate of FIU. But listen, I grew up in Kendall. I grew up a Miami Hurricanes season ticket holder. I still am. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. So I'm a fan of both teams. On the Hawk and Crowder show, I'm the FIU guy. I have to be, because Hawk is a UM fan and Crowder is a Florida Gator, obviously. But what am I expecting? I'm expecting finally a damn spread offense, and I hope with Rhett Lashley, it's able to really be different from what we've seen. I don't think it means getting away from the run game. Don Bailey Jr., analyst for the Canes, was on with us today on Hawk and Crowder, and he said, like, they'll still rely on the run game. They won't totally get away from it because they have such great athletes, obviously. But let's see a spread offense for once. You bring in De'Aaron King, like, let's see 5 wide and just give this guy the ball and let him effing work, right? Like, let him go to work. That's why you brought him in, and I hope it goes well. I like Manny Diaz. Like, he is Miami, right? Like, literally, he's a Miami guy. I know losing to FIU was arguably the worst loss in program history. But listen, if he wins, right, like if UM is able to even get back to a fraction of what they were in the early 2000s, and they're competing for the ACC on a year in, year out basis, like getting to the ACC championship, all's forgiven, I think. Like, I think that's where you have to get back to, whether it's this year, next year. If you can get back to the ACC championship and like legitimately compete, not lose by 50 points to Clemson every year in the ACC championship game, and you beat FSU, then you'll keep this job. You'll keep getting recruits, and at some point you'll build this program back up. And patience, man. Like, I know it's been a while, but I think Manny's the right guy. I know a lot of Canes fans don't agree, but I think he is.
I think he has to be. But
Good point.
Well, game day, you saw them. Alex Rodriguez. Everybody was hype about the team. We were back, and then unfortunately, our quarterback, I forget his name at the moment.
Malik Rozier.
Rozier, man. Yeah. He had a flop of a game against Pittsburgh, and then I don't know.
Well, that contrast of where the Canes were against Notre Dame at Hard Rock Stadium still, and I was at Orange Bowl games growing up my entire life. Like, some of my fondest memories at the Orange Bowl, like I every time we talk about the Orange Bowl, I get the feels. No, really, like I miss it so much. So much of my childhood was going to the Orange Bowl with my best friends. But that game against Notre Dame, I was there, was the loudest sporting event I have ever been to. I've been to every Heat playoff game since 2004. I was at the Super Bowl this past year. I'm not trying to like gloat. I'm just saying, to put it in comparison, that is the loudest sporting event I have ever been to in my entire life. And the contrast from that day to, was it 2 weeks later against Pittsburgh? Because I remember they had a bye against Pittsburgh, is unbelievable. Like, I can't imagine another situation like that. I can't even put it into perspective where you can be on top of the college football world and then lose to Pittsburgh, and then you lost 3 straight, I believe it was. I mean, that's crazy if you really think about what happened to the program, where they were on top and then fell down so hard. But that we'll always have the Notre Dame game. We'll always have that.
You're right, but it shows you we're winning heals everything, and we're just a couple of wins before we're back, and hopefully we get back to the stadium.
Hopefully. I mean, look, 13,000 fans can get in this year. I probably would choose not to go, but that's my opinion. I don't fault anybody for wanting to go again. Like, everybody should make up their own mind on that. And are you guys confident though with this full ACC schedule? Like, it's a tough schedule. I know the ACC is kind of weak sauce, but still, like, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Duke, like
we have Clemson.
Clemson, right? Like those.
I think week 4 or something like that, we have Clemson. So I think that'll be the first test. I think right away, I think these first 3 weeks are, let's see how COVID affected, us and our athletes are practicing. Right. After that, I think that's the first real test that we'll see. And from there, it's happier or just another poor hurricane season.
Yeah, and I don't have crazy analysis on it, but if De'Aaron King is, a Heisman candidate, I think the team goes far.
Are those fair expectations though? Like,
no, I'm not. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put a ceiling under that. Like, I think he very well could be, but to make the to set the bar at, he needs to be a Heisman. And I'm not saying you were, Lasner. I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of Canes fans say De'Aaron King needs to be, Heisman worthy this season. I think you're setting the bar too high because he's coming in as a transfer. It's a brand new system implemented under a new offensive coordinator. Right. Limited off-season, COVID players. Whether I know the Canes haven't had too many issues with it, but still, like, all these question marks get in the way of what would have been a normal off-season to prepare. I think it's unrealistic to set these expectations at, hey, be a Heisman finalist. And
finalists, but we saw Ja'Cory Harris as a Heisman candidate like 5 weeks into the season. That's all I'm asking for. Get 5 weeks in the season and be a realistic quarterback, be able to score points.
Right.
Don't rely on the defense so much, which we've seen too often.
I just think it's so tough to be considered a Heisman, trophy. I mean, a Heisman winner candidate. And I don't know if that's really the Miami Hurricanes that I go to remember. I remember just the nasty defense or cocky Hurricane. That's what I want to see. I want to see us. Yeah, I want to see the swagger back. That's what I really want to see in order for me to be happy personally. I'm not saying we have to win it all. I'm saying let's get back to that team where we're just like, we can beat them.
You're recruiting that way, right? Like Manny's recruiting that way. But here's what I'll say. You're in the ACC. And I don't want to repeat the same stupid talking points. You've never won the ACC, like we know, but the Dukes, the Virginia Techs, the Virginias, the North Carolinas, and the Pittsburghs, every year since the UM's been in the ACC, one of those 5 teams has really made it uncomfortable for them. They've beaten them. They've lost to Duke how many times? 2 times, 3 times. They've lost to Virginia on a consistent basis. They've lost to Vaught Tech. Like, these are teams in the ACC that aren't elite college football programs. Florida State right now is down, but that's a rivalry game. Everything goes out the window, in my opinion. But when you're beating the Virginias, the Dukes, the Pittsburghs, the Virginia Techs on a consistent basis, I think that swagger, that cockiness will come back, right? Like the Clemson right now, they're the standard of college football. So I don't think it's fair to expect a win against them anytime soon. But just beat up on these ACC teams. And that swagger will come back, right? Like, that's what you have to do.
All right, what are we expecting from the Dolphins this year?
16-0.
16-0. Fair enough. No, but week
game 1.
Week 1, we see Cam Newton. We don't really know what his wide receivers are going to look like. I mean, N'Keal Harry. They don't really have great wide receivers. We see Edelman, a few years in a row, and then the running back situation is a little odd. They have a great James White, but Sony Michel's
injured. They have 12 running backs. Like, literally, they have 12 running backs. It's insane.
And on IR.
That's what's funny. You mentioned that. Like, they have all these guys, and it's going to be Rex Burkhead just catching dump offs, literally every single play. Like, that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird to see the Patriots without Tom Brady. I'm
weird.
Like, it's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's going to be really good, and I definitely think the Patriots make the playoffs just because, man, they have the coaching, and I think, he looked stronger. Cam Newton looked stronger than ever. I mean, he kind of forced himself the last couple of years with Carolina. I like the move, man. I'm not really a Patriots fan. I kind of like the Patriots because of James White. He's a friend of mine, but they're the clear. I think they're the clear favorites in the division, in my opinion.
Lasner with the James White name drop. I love it. No, I'm just teasing. Look, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Patriots yet. I'm with you, by the way, on Cam Newton, like his workout videos, and I know it's like every year we see Hoodie Mello practicing in a gym, and everybody jumps on Hoodie Mello. But I was all in on the Cam Newton workout videos. Like, this guy just looks. He is effing chiseled, man. Like, he is effing chiseled. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to make. Like, is Bill Belichick a good enough coach
we find out
to take a team that has zero cohesion and take them to the playoff? Like, I don't know. I don't want to come off like an NFL expert. Like, who knows? The NFL is so weird.
Are you doing fantasy football?
Yeah, I don't take it too serious. I play a couple leagues with some of my buddies, but yeah.
Would you take Cam Newton as your starting quarterback?
No way.
Not even as my backup, unless they're playing like, I don't know, like the Giants one week, or unless they're playing who's really bad, like Cincinnati this year. I don't know. Like I don't even
do that.
I don't even know.
I would only take him if my quarterback had COVID and he wasn't going to play, and then my backup had COVID. Then I would be like, okay, let's see what the bottom of the barrel has for me.
Yeah,
but other than that,
I will say, to your credit, like, if there is one coach who can figure out a way to put Cam in the right situation, I guess it would be Bill Belichick, right? Because he's NFL coaching glory or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not buying into he can just plug in and plug out Tom Brady and plug in Cam Newton, totally different style quarterback, and they'll achieve the same things that they achieve. And look, if they prove me wrong, the Patriots and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have been proving us wrong since 2012, when literally every year since then we've been counting them out. So can they prove us wrong? Sure, why not? But I'm not buying it until I see it.
Yeah, I won't buy it either. It's like Spoelstra, right? Like, you lose a certain amount of players. Oh, we have the best culture and we have the best coach.
Right.
At some point, your player, your lack of player depth or lack of star power, it catches up to you.
Yeah, and you saw that with the 17-18 team. Like, as great as that run was, like, at the end of the day, they finished probably right where they were supposed to. And then even when Wade came back, like, you got one great game in the playoffs against Wade, and look, that team was just a first round exit team. Like, at the end, no matter how great of a system you have, stability, coaching, like, at the end of the day, talent, I think, wins out. And I guess there's more parity in football than in the NBA, but like, let me see the first 10 weeks, see how the Patriots fare, and then we'll have this discussion again on the Patriots.
I have to ask you, are you guys getting Tua on your program?
So it's really cool. I got the chance to interview him with a bunch of people on draft night. We did like this live, like a live draft show or whatever. Very similar. I know 5 Reasons did one as well, and we actually got Tua on the show, and I got to ask him a question. My question was so stupid. It was like, have you been to Miami? Like, what do you know about Miami? What are you most? I know, weak sauce.
Hey, right there.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, I was on a call with Joe Rose, Channing Crowder, Mark Hockman, Zach Krantz, Zaslow, Tobin, Leroy, and like, I wasn't necessarily first on the pecking order to ask a damn question. So there weren't many questions available to me once I dropped. So I went with the local Miami boy.
You should have went with, hey, are you excited for the Miami girls, or you still?
Yeah, he's too smart to answer a question like that. Like, he's polished, man. He's polished with the media.
Definitely.
He's been groomed since he was a freshman in Alabama.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah.
So let's say you had a moment to ask him something else. What would you ask him? If you had another chance.
Like, right now. Yeah. Like, why? Like, do you want to start? And I know his answer would be yes. Like, I think we all want to, like, because he's giving the coach speak answers. I'm gonna listen to what Brian Flores is saying, and it's a process, all the BS. But like, yeah, I know he thinks he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, because you have, like, when you're that caliber of player, you have to think that way.
Yeah, of course. There's to be an athlete, it's not easy, man. And you have some, like, cockiness in your head when you're a kid, right? Like, and you go through that, and as you get higher through the stages, you're like, man, I was right. I am better than all these people. Like,
and I understand it. I'm a JCC legend in my own mind. And like, that's the way I approach life. Like, I'm better than everybody, and even if I'm not, like, why not give yourself that benefit of the doubt? Like, that's how you have to approach everything, I think.
Are you watching the Marlins at all?
I was, and I'm keeping up with it because I do the sports updates or whatever. So I'm keeping up with it, but I haven't been watching live as much. So much NBA going on, but I know they've won 2 of 3 against the Braves. I have the Celtics game on now. I know Sixto balled last night. Like, I'm keeping up with it. Like, I can do a little Marlins talk if you wanna jump around on the Marlins.
I feel like that's all everybody wants to hear.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick Marlins talk. Don't give anybody an update tomorrow. The Marlins are getting blown out right now, 11-2. Top of the third, they're getting blown out 11-2.
I haven't read Jeremy Tash's Twitter feed yet, so I haven't. That's where I get all my Marlins updates, on Jeremy Tash's Twitter feed.
Yeah, I Jeremy Tash, Craig Mish, and Danny. Yeah, and Danny I think that's it. They're good, man. They're on top of it. So. Yeah, that's where I get my takes from, actually.
Yeah.
Well, we also have on 5 Reasons have David Hernandez. Did you mention him already? He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude. Look, I can't. I love 5 Reasons. Like, seriously. Like, I was talking to Giancarlo Navas about it earlier. Like, I know right now there's like this rift between podcasts and radio or whatever. Like on the Twitter, like it's so stupid. Like, I guess it's controversial now to say like I love radio. It's a medium that I think will always be important. And at the same time, like I love podcasts. I love the specific content you get. When you want to listen to it, you can just jump to exactly what you want to listen to. I love it. Like, I think there's definitely an avenue for both, and I think they can work in concert together. I don't get all this, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. Like, but I know that right now there's definitely a little tension in the industry. I don't get, or at least locally here, I don't get it. Like, I love both. I love 5 Reasons, Heat Beat, all these people that do great work. And like, there's some really good people in local radio as well that I think deserve some credit as well.
Yeah, and I guess just what it's about is they want people, Alf and so they want to use the weekend space, or even Giancarlo. They want to use the time that's quiet, that doesn't have anything local. And I'm sure you know this, but they just want a representation of South Florida, what we're doing, to be visible.
I don't think that's a bad, like, everybody wants the opportunity. Like, I work for radio. The way I would frame it is I'm on the inside. Yeah. Like, you don't think I want the opportunity, and I'm not saying I'm better than any of these guys. I don't think I am. I think Al's better than me.
You just said it. You think you're better at everybody and everything. You already said
it. That's true. No, but like I'm able to put it into context. Like, dude, I listen to 5 on the Floor literally after every Heat game. I listen to Miami Heat Beat after every Heat game. Like I love that. Like, I love talking Heat. That's why anytime I'm asked to come on any of these shows with you guys, like, I'll always say yes, because I love talking local sports. So I would love to get an hour right now talking Heat, but I understand the situation at hand, which was brought on because of a global pandemic. And if I think there's more to it than that. And again, like, I don't want to get into it because like it gets too muddy, and then like people think you're taking shots at them, and I'm not, because again, like, I can't stress enough how much I enjoy everybody's like what everybody's putting out into this market.
And both sides have reasonable takes. It's just the context is being skewed, and I think there's some misunderstandings on both sides.
I mean, it's Twitter too. Like, I don't put too much credence into because like if I know if we were all at a bar together, there would be no what I mean? Like, there would be no hate or whatever. Like, look, it's Twitter. If you look through my timeline, I've never once in my life got into a fight with anybody on Twitter. Like, I don't have the time to fight with people on Twitter about stuff. Like, I don't have the time. Like, whatever. Like, you want to
get into one now, buddy. No,
yeah.
But yeah, man. Any other questions you got, Ryan?
Well, you have a beautiful jersey on.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the last team.
Was it white originally, and then you washed it with something red, or? Just kidding.
Nah, I think this practice jersey is nicer than the original white jersey. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I love this practice jersey. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. It looks like a great fabric as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me ask you: have you been disappointed with Inter Miami so far?
I mean, yeah, I don't think you can say, like, I don't see how you can say you haven't been disappointed. I think you have to put it again into the proper context or whatever. The pandemic, they only got to play 2 games. They were robbed in the first game against LAFC. Excuse me, not against DC, right? Like, they were literally robbed. The red card. That first game you lost because LAFC just scored a miraculous goal by probably the best player in the MLS. And look, you didn't get the results you wanted in the MLS bubble, but unprecedented again. I sound like I'm making excuses, but I think that all is valid. But yeah, obviously you're disappointed. They came out with this I guess they were really trying to push this message, Beckham and Moss, that they were going to get top tier talent. And like that's how they kind of presented it to us.
Yeah.
And look, Matuidi is a great signing. I love it. I think his first 80 minutes against Nashville, like you saw what's coming, right? Like you saw what he's going to give you. Whether it was all on display against Nashville, probably not. But you know he's going to be one of the best players in the MLS. And they haven't lived up to kind of the expectations we all set on them. Like I remember before that first LAFC game, we had Taylor Twellman on, and he's putting Inter Miami in the playoffs, one of the best teams, most competitive teams, and we all bought into that. So to see them start 0-5 was a bummer. Yeah. But man, look, this whole year has just been crazy, right? Like I'm not going to hold it against them because they had a bad first year when there was 5 months of stoppage, and then you're put into a bubble. You basically have 0 practice games. Like
inaugural season. Who else had a good or successful inaugural season? I can't think of any team ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Inter Miami had the worst inaugural season. Like literally,
it was so bad.
They went to like the finals, right?
Yeah, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, and they had March Assault from the Panthers and the coach. I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, they did. Okay. In terms of what's to come, look, they're going to be fine. Like let's say next year they make the playoffs, we don't remember any of this, right? Like if next year's a normal season, they're able to start in March, we're able to go to the stadium in Fort Lauderdale, we're able to watch them. They get Matuidi playing at a high level. They're able to get I'm forgetting the Argentinian's name that were in talks to get.
I have to look it up.
Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name. I was just talking smack to Alex Dano about.
Why can't we get Chad Ochocinco on the team? Do you think he can compete? Because
I actually played against Chad.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not that special.
No, I played against him at KSP, and I mean, dude, he's the best athlete on the field. I don't think there's any doubt. But
jerseys, tickets. I mean, more TV time, airtime. I mean, I feel like he is what the team is missing, and because they're not winning as it is. So why not throw him out there? Or is that like I don't know.
No, because then you're just doing Gonzalo Higuain. By the way, I can't believe I forgot that. But no, you can't sign Chad Ochocinco because he's not a soccer player. Like then you're just giving the whole argument that the MLS is a joke. Like you're playing into that. Like he's not. And like I would love to see Chad Ochocinco on a soccer, especially in Inter Miami. Like it'd be fun, right? But
why?
Like, I think it's a slap in the face to the MLS. Really, like I think what the MLS is trying to build, and Inter Miami has some like decent young talent, like Pellegrini, and I get it. Like people haven't seen that yet, but they've got some young guys from Argentina, and I think they're truly trying to build it the right way, which is important in soccer. Like I think that's really important, and Miami has such a strong soccer. I know it because I grew up here. I grew up in Kendall playing soccer as my number one sport. And I know that there's this tremendous potential to like really build. Yeah, man, I was good at soccer. I see you laughing, Matthew. Like, yeah. But I want to see it fulfilled. And I think it'll happen. It'll take some time, but I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
You know what I think we got to do? I was going to say we should have a soccer, like radio versus podcast soccer. You know, we'll get the Heat Beat people, we'll get 5 Reasons people, and then we'll go against all the radio people. But I think that would get too physical, right?
I played with a couple of the I play soccer often, not often, but I played a couple times with like Giancarlo Navas from Heat Beat. Right. I'm trying to think who else has been out there. Before COVID, I play 5-6 times a week soccer. Yeah, man. Like I was. Yeah.
I'll say something easier. We could play kickball. All right, let's see, because you should have some flash of talent. If you're such a good soccer player, I'd like to see. I mean, I played kickball in like 3 leagues already, and all these people that say, man, I'm so good at soccer, and they come on and they play kickball.
No,
I don't know when you were good at soccer, but it wasn't It wasn't recent.
Those kickball leagues are no joke, though, man.
Yeah,
like,
no, of course.
Like the ones in the Grove, those kickball leagues are no joke.
Got into fights. I've seen fist fights over first base. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the whole idea, like everybody goes in with the same idea. Yo, let's set up a team. We'll meet some girls. We'll go get drunk. We'll go get drunk in the Grove after. It'll be fun, bro. And then like you're in the playoffs and you're literally like yelling at your boys. There's there's fights. There's rifts because of these stupid kickball leagues. Like that's what I'm about. I'm about irrational competitiveness. And I'm in. So if you want to start a kickball league, let me know.
Let's do it. Yo, look, for real, let's do it. My last league right before COVID hit, I ran through a guy at first base. He got a concussion. So I'm all about that. Let's do it. All right.
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Come on.
I'm just saying, don't stand on first base.
You're giving people CTE through kickball. Like what are you doing, bro? Come on.
Well, there's a rule. You're not supposed to stand in front of the first base. You got to get off of first base.
No, you're right. Like you charge him. What are you gonna do, right? Like you got to charge him.
Yep. Yeah, man. Plus, when you're drinking, like you think you can do anything, and I thought I can do anything. I was like, don't touch.
Lasner can't play kickball. He'd get his white button down dirty. Can't get clay on the white button.
I'm actually super athletic, believe it or not, but I wasn't really football, baseball, basketball, wrestling. Those games, I feel like I'm more competitive there. But I played football in high school, and I'm just very coordinated. But just soccer, for some reason, I would want to use my hands. I can't walk with that with my arms.
But I will say, like, just playing pickup soccer, like the 6-on-6, 7-on-7, dude, that's like the best exercise. It's
tough. Best. Oh my god! Like I used to good. Just go out there. I used to play soccer in high school, and then after like 3 years of high school, I joined like this amateur league or whatever here in Miramar. I was like, yeah, let's do it. We went for practice. Oh my god! Luckily, one of the teammates was a firefighter, and like he's like, yo, I was like laying down on the floor, and he's like trying to get me enough air, and he's like, let me help you. He's like, do I need to give you mouth on? I was like, fuck no, you don't need to touch my mouth.
All that for one goal. All right, just kidding. So I have a question for you, Alejandro. You grew up in Miami. Throughout all the sports, who would you say is your favorite athlete growing up?
Oh, Dwayne Wade. It's not even close.
Second.
Other than Dwayne Wade, my favorite athlete. Wow, man.
It could be any sport, any city.
I know this is controversial, but probably Luis Suarez. I'm from Uruguay. Both of my parents are from Uruguay, and I follow the Uruguayan soccer league like very closely, and like the national team. I'm all in. The way I am for the Heat, like I'm all in on the Uruguay national team, and I know Luis Suarez is a very controversial character, so I get it. Like everybody likes to make the shark jokes or whatever, but man, that guy has just gifted me so many unbelievable moments for la selección uruguaya that to me, I think it's Suarez. It's not even close.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're hitting that 50-minute mark, guys. So I think this is a good place to end it. But any last thoughts on the Heat, man? What's the last thing you want to say about the Heat, Ryan?
Well, last thoughts on the Heat. I mean, we haven't seen a Duncan Robinson. Excuse me. We haven't seen a Duncan Robinson game yet. I would love to see him just like hit 9 threes. That would be pretty cool. I don't know when it's going to happen. I would like to see Kendrick Nunn get his trade value up. I want to see him, have a 20-point game if possible.
That's so mean. That's the meanest thing you could have said. I want to see Kendrick Nunn trade value go up just so you can trade him.
Well, that's important at this point because the season ends and there's no value for him. He's kind of just there, and then you got to still push that value for him before the trade deadline. Those are my two thoughts.
What about you, Alejandro? What do you want to say?
Nothing else to say other than have the guts. And as always, Heat in 5.
Heat in 3.
Heat in 3, whatever. Heat in 5, though. It's always Heat in 5.
It's funny. It was Heat in 3 versus the Bucks because after Game 3, we kind of knew what was going to happen. So.
Yeah, but seriously, have the guts, Heat fans. Like, I'm so tired of through the first quarter, everybody on Twitter's losing their mind. Like, have some guts. Trust Spo, trust Riley, trust this team that has at least proven that they deserve our trust. So have some guts. 5, no matter who we're playing. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll say wait for a predicament before you start panicking, because I think from both series that we've seen so far, the Heat have always looked in control. So let it play out. Like Solana says, have the guts. Yeah. And I want to see the same thing. Heat in 5, Heat in 4 would be even better. I think realistically, we can go for Heat in 6, and I'll still be happy with that.
If we go to the finals, though, my goodness. Oh, my God. I don't even – we don't have to win. Maybe one game. Give me one win in the finals. But, wow, just Heat Twitter would just blow up. Twitter would blow up.
I mean, here's my problem with that. Like, we don't have to win. I get you. Like, getting to the finals is an insane accomplishment given everything that's happened to this franchise since LeBron left. So I'm with you. Like, that's a win in itself. But, bro, I get to the finals. No, we need a win. Like, you can't. No, you need to win 4 games. Win 4. No, not 1. Like, win 4 games.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like it kind of reminds me of the last year that LeBron was with us when we lost to the Spurs so poorly. It was so disappointing, man. It was.
Yeah, but the writing was on the wall there. Like, that team was just depleted. Wade was a shell of himself. Like, and the Spurs were just so much better that year.
It just took away the season from you, and I feel like I don't want that to happen to this team. Like, let's keep it competitive the whole way. If we only win 1 in the finals, I think that it will be a little bit sour. It'll leave a bad sour taste in your mouth.
The Spurs cheated. Okay,
that's true. Okay? That's true. You're right. Yeah.
Ruined all the momentum. I mean, and then they had Danny Green going lights out. But I really, really am hurt by it. But I'm just not a Spurs fan at all because of that. I can't deal with it. But
you know what? You're probably right. You're probably, no joke. Like, you are probably right. Like, we win game 1 the way we should have. We hold for game 2 the way that it played out, and you're up 2-0. Totally different series. So you're right. But I still think the Spurs were just dominant. Like, Kawhi was on another level. LeBron played to his averages. Wade just it wasn't Wade anymore. Like, he was a shell of himself. Like, CB, I mean, whatever. We could do this another time, but yeah.
But we did escape the first series with them. When we beat them in the finals the first time, took a Kawhi missed free throw. And then, of course, Ray Allen's.
Yeah, man.
We escaped, so we should just enjoy that one.
Yep, very true.
Finals 4 times in 4 years.
Yeah,
man. We're going back.
Greatest 4 years of my fandom ever.
Definitely.
Never, it'll never be replicated ever.
Well, yeah, I know. I remember that night. LeBron's coming to Miami.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being on the show, Solana. It was awesome having you. We'll definitely get you on again. Instead of Inter Miami shirt, though, let's get your cocky Heat, clothes on, because I think that's the only thing I was missing in this show.
All right, yeah. Next time I'll suit up. I have my jersey. I have my shorts. I'll suit up totally. I'll rock. Can
you look like one of those Heat guys that work the crowds? You know how they get them all pumped up. Can you dress up like that?
Yeah, like the extreme team. I got you.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Like Mr. Bill. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm all in.
All right, man.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you follow all of our Twitters. Alejandro Solana, he works on 560 and 790. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you follow LasnerSport. Super cool guy. Got a lot of good stuff. Always got the pictures right after every game. Good reactions, and he's always promoting these T-shirts that you want to buy. And follow me because I'm a little bit better than both of these guys put together. All right, so later, guys.
All right, guys.